Hey everyone. I'm taking a tiny break for a couple of days so I don't burn myself out on videos too much, but I figured I'd make one of these as well. You guys seem to actually think the character one was pretty good and seem to kind of enjoy my rambling. So I'm gonna keep this one a lot shorter. But actually I'm gonna do melee and ranged. But essentially I think the tier list is like this. Like longsword's the best in the game, dagger is second best, greatsword is third, katana is fifth. Spear is the worst, and then I think that the you know whatever it's called, I already forgot what it's called. The blood ripper is kind of a gimmick weapon. Obviously, it can instant kill you if you get touched in the wrong spot, but besides that, it's not really that good. Um, Now, okay, obviously longsword. I mean, toothpicking, obviously, absolutely fucking insane. Really good damage, really good neutral, really good focus attack. It's a complete package. It does everything you really want. It's very easy to use. It's very straightforward. It's very intuitive. It's basically never wrong to just be blue charging and then unleashing into something, whether it be just a toothpick starter or the wave. At the time wave gets parried, doesn't actually matter. People actually have to change how they counterplay it entirely to deal with it. It's usually better to try to tap dodge through a wave if you're going for a punish on it than to parry it. Um, Phoenix Blast is good. The other rest of its Soul Jades are kind of bad, but Phoenix Blast is good. It makes it even more impossible to parry. It's super one-dimensional, super powerful in that one dimension as well. Now, Dagger, I think, is pretty much just as good as Longsword. It really depends on how you play and which one's harder for you to deal with, though. So Dagger has insane combo damage. You can react to Soul Break, but the issue is that you have to be at a certain spacing to be able to react and parry Soul Break. And if they're really close to you after they hit you and then go into it, you usually can't even parry in time if you get stuck in that like vacuum. Even if you mash parry, the Soul Break will still hit you. So you have to try to outspace them. Make sure you don't get hit by any lights before the Soul Break comes out, and if you react to it properly, then you can just kill them off of it. Or if you read, even if you don't react, you just make a guess and it's a Soul Break, you can do it. Obviously, the issue with that is that it has two other things that it can do to basically insta kill you with the same combo as well. If you're going downhill, it's actually an infinite. You just die. Its focus attacks are very hard to parry, both of them, the Soul Break and it's just whatever it's called. The uppercut isn't that hard to deal with. That thing whiffs all the time, but it has two other really good. They just buffed all of its Soul Jades. Like, honestly, that might make it a little better than Longsword. Because its Soul Jades are fucking insane now, right? Like, Abyssal Aura is fucking crazy. Like, it has so much more mix-up utility. I don't even know what to say. Like, this weapon went from being okay, like B tier, maybe low A last patch because it had low damage, to just being off the charts insane. Um, Now I think you might put Dagger stronger than Longsword depending on how you play. I play very high risk. I go for like max damage punishes nonstop. It's really inconsistent. So something like dealing with Dagger is actually easier for me because I take those risks, and if I take a risk and successfully read the Dagger, I usually just kill the Dagger, where if I take risk and successfully read Longsword, nothing actually happens. So if you play safer, Dagger's probably hard for you to deal with the Longsword. And then you'd probably put that above that. Now, at A, I actually think Greatsword is the third best weapon in the game. Stone Form is just unbelievably broken. You always have to respect it. The only way that like Katana can even fight Greatsword is by just making a hard read and guessing for game. It's like really hard to parry unless you tank the hit. You can't clank them. You have to tank the hit. So you have to eat 500 damage. You want to try to parry the secondary attack properly. A lot of weapons. It's really really obnoxious. It's very safe. Usually what happens is that like you'll play versus like a longsword or something, and they blue focus charge, and they want to try to armor through your attack. And the thing with Greatsword is you can armor through its like basic attack, but it still does 500 damage, right? It's actually insane. It has a really good jumping attack. It has pretty good combos if you get uppercut. They're near instant kills. It has a pretty good parry mix up. This weapon's just crazy. People undersell it a lot. So I get people to say just parry it. Certain weapons can actually bait the parry and then react to it. There's certain ways to outplay. I'm not the best at dealing with it, to be honest. And it's something I need to improve on, but it's like you can whiff these blue focus attacks. It doesn't matter. You can just sit there and charge on their face. You can do a bunch of stuff. You can do grapple mix-ups. It has so much going for it that people like to undersell because the rest of the weapon isn't actually like some parts of the weapon aren't that good. But Stoneform itself is such a broken mechanic that it hard carries the weapon. Like, I honestly think Stoneform is so broken it shouldn't be in the game. And they should just make Greysword a different moveset, more interesting, more fun, more interactive to actually play versus. Obviously, if you are a new player, this weapon is up here. It's actually impossible as a new player to deal with. Something like that shouldn't be in the game. It's just crazy. Right? Katana. Katana's weird. It can exert a lot of pressure once it opens you up. But Katana is honestly better it's better to use longsword than Katana. If you're gonna do anything, than actually just using Katana by itself. That's the thing about Katana or longsword. But it doesn't really have good normals. Its best normal is probably its RMB like running. But the issue is that it only leads into a second hit and then into charging focus on their face and doing something else. It can be really hard though once the Katana hits you with like a punish to actually win the fight after that. You're generally just going to die. It does have the highest combo damage in the game. I believe Longsword and Greysword being a tier right below it. But you have to make those reads to get those punishes because you can't actually get those big punishes off of the RMB. But between like the grapple combo and juggles and once it gets like one of those punishes, you're stuck into the pressure system of Katana has the fastest focus attack and it does like 800 damage with gold, obviously only. So it's more like 600 when you're fighting it. But the issue is that once you get knocked down and then you're stuck to play Katana's focus charge game point blank with it, it's very, very suffocating to deal with. And you have to make reads on what they're going to do. But a lot of Katana players also just play insanely safe the whole time. So you can't really make a read. People right now aren't actually maximizing all of its like damage punishes still. They're going for more fake stuff, which the issue with the fake stuff is that it works really well if your opponent doesn't know when to tap dodge out of it or what to do versus it. But after that, it's not really that good. Basically, it's just once you get into a winning position, Katana is super good, but Katana has to get to that winning position versus weapons that are just two weapons that are just flat out better than it, and a weapon that basically, in my opinion, hard counters it. Katana has the hardest time dealing with Stoneform just because of how blue focus clanking works with it. Now, Spear, I think, is terrible. Spear in 3s, amazing. Okay, don't get me wrong. The 3s tier lists look different than this. 3s tier list, Katana's probably at the fucking bottom. Greysword, Spear, Longsword are all in S. Dagger's like A, if it was a 3s tier list. But the issue with Spear is that I swear the vertical to uppercut isn't actually true. And the vertical has the most awkward dead zones in it that just feel like you shouldn't be whiffing on the person, but you are. Its basic focus attacks besides Dragon Slayer are really bad. It kind of is just like you poke them to death in neutral, but you aren't getting very much reward off of your pokes. So it doesn't matter that you hit someone 4 times, as the Greysword winds up guessing right once, and you're guessing for game after that. We won 4 times, but now the Greysword hit you once, right? And the Greysword user is still half HP, and you're 1 HP, right? It just isn't outputting enough damage for it to actually be seen as a threat in my mind. Obviously, it has like Dragon Slayer mix-ups, its grapples. It has its own combo if it actually works. Like I said, I'm still not sure if it actually works. I swear there's like a 1 frame gap in it that makes it fake. And 3s, obviously, it's really good. 3s is a different beast, though. It has some pretty good soul jades too, like Nesm's Might is good. I should have probably brought up how like Katana has like Blink Strike Katana goes into like S tier because it's so hard to actually deal with. Like Greysword gets better too with its soul jades. Like all the weapons usually have really good soul jades. Besides the Longsword, it has like the worst, and it's still an S tier. Now, I talked about Blood Ripper. I talked about Blood Ripper a little bit. Blood Ripper's really gimmicky, right? It's just like an in-circle weapon. Like, you just run around, you kick your feet up, you get the JDMing going on all the way nice and comfy, leaned all the way back, and you just run it at someone. And if they're in like a really bad in circle, they're just like dead if they don't have a way to break a combo. You can just clank with it and kill them though. It takes a while to start it back up, So ultimately, it's not actually that good. So for ranged weapons, I believe ranged weapons something like this. I'm just gonna put this. It's probably S tier as well, and it's like musket, and then pistol, then repeating, then this, then once again the swarm is just a gimmick like the other one. Bow is still like all around the best ranged weapon. Like it lowered the damage, which was completely necessary, but like if you get hit by a full charged bow, you just kind of lose. Especially in in-game circles. Like it's the best at shooting long range. It's not the best at shipping like the last bit of health of someone, but it's good at shipping the health before you have to fight them. It's just really obnoxious to deal with. It has a lot of ammo, which is really weird in my opinion. Like, it probably shouldn't have as much ammo, so you could just hold multiple. It needs to be more of a commitment from the user if they want to actually just sit there and spam third party with bow. Flamethrower is a crate weapon. It's insanely good in end circles. It's insanely good versus a lot of characters. It reduces healing. It does health damage as well. If someone's just low, but they still have armor, you can still kill them. It's very guaranteed damage at certain ranges. It's, like I said, it's really good in end circle. All around, it's hard to deal with. Obviously, you can hit some with it, but when you're low and they have a flamethrower, it's just over for you. Right. But it is a crate weapon, so you have to take that into consideration. Now, musket's actually pretty good now. I think it's still worse than bow overall. It's probably a bit better at just straight up fighting someone. But if you don't have like the double speed, trying to like chip somebody out at long range is kind of hard. Its soldiers are kind of gimmicky. There's not much to them to actually use. I guess you could go for like armor pierce and like the scope damage increase and just try to cheese someone out. They don't realize what's happening. Besides that, it's kind of just a worse bow, but it's not so much worse now that it's like you can prefer a musket over a bow now, in my opinion. Pistol has got pretty crazy buffs. I thought it was okay before, but they buffed like all of its soul jades. They buffed its move speed when you're charging, so it's actually really good now. If you get the gold soul jade that causes the hit stagger after you shoot them, if they don't hit you or whatever, this is instantly S tier. It's absolutely fucking broken. It's crazy that's in the game. I don't know why it's in the game. Like, other ones aren't that useful, but like that one alone, like if you hit someone before a fight starts, and as long as you don't get hit, they'll just get hit stunned randomly, and then you can just combo them for free off of it. It's crazy. With that soul jade, it's easily an S tier weapon, but since you don't usually have that soul jade, it's just going to be an A tier. Repeating crossbow is like better than I think. So I'm putting it here. It's the best weapon at confirming. Like, so if Matari is like low HP, she's trying to run from you. Like, you're guaranteed. Like, whoever's trying to low HP, trying to run from you, repeating crossbow, you're just going to kill them. The issue is it doesn't really have that to start off fights with damage. If you're really good at tracking people, like with your aim, you can use it more than bow, I think. But the issue is it still doesn't really have that, like, if you start shooting someone with repeating crossbow, they don't really care, right? You're going to do like 200 damage, they're going to be on you, they're going to trade evenly. But if you shoot someone with a bow right before a fight starts, that's 1,000 damage to get a headshot, right? It doesn't have enough threat to matter. But it does have its own niche on the fact that you can kill people who, like, low, trying to run from you. They're trying to sit there and bow you out at, like, 2 HP. You just repeat them and just get it over with. The cannon is really bad. It has its purpose. And if you have, like, only soul jades meant to work with cannon, it can be really broken. If you have, like, double shot and, like, straight shot and, like, larger explosions, and you have like repair roll. This weapon is easily S tier because you can literally almost 2-hit people at that point. But then you're also committing like all of your soul jades to make a cannon function properly, and you have to change your inventory entirely, and it's kind of a mess. One of its best utilities is the fact that you can deal with like certain things like Yodoheim F3, or sorry, Yodohime's F3, without needing a flamethrower. You can just cannon right next to her thing, and hit her with the splash damage. You can't cannon straight into it like you can flamethrower ever. But it's just a way you can actually punish Yodos when they try to just F3 and heal up right in front of your face, and you can't do anything about it. That's one of his main utilities. You can keep one in your inventory for that. Or if you're gonna try to like third party, like 5 people in one fight, you can use it then. But without his soul jades, I don't think it's that good. It really struggles, in my opinion. They should just turn it. They should just give it the rocket launcher one always. That'd be sick. Swarm is really bad. It's just a gimmick. It's a crate weapon, whatever. Obviously, if someone's just like standing still and you start swarming them, there goes their entire HP bar. But it doesn't really do enough. Its splash damage isn't really that big. You can't just shoot the ground and chip people out. If you just sit there and try to charge, people usually will just grief you. You can't do anything about it. What else does it have? Like, I guess like in trios, it's probably okay. Because you can just third party with it while your 2 teammates lock them down for you. But other than that, it's just something you can use for fun. It's not really good. It's like I said, it's a crate weapon. It's not going to be there very often. But that's basically what I thought the weapons are right now. I'm sure someone's going to say I'm underselling katana or whatever. I don't really care. That's just how I feel about it. Now, I will say that the next video I'm going to put out is probably the katana guide finally. For like everything. That's going to take probably a couple days to get it all around. So I apologize there's not any uploads until then. Peace.